Hey everyone, it's been a while since I've talked to y'all, and thought I would do this video to talk about a project I'm about to pursue, and also to ask for a little help from the Minecrafting community. I'm going to pose this way. Allison, my other half, she discovered that Minecraft is a great vehicle for teaching basic mathematical principles in geometry, perimeter, area, volume, tessellation, a couple of other concepts that the children seem to be picking up in world way faster and way better than they did on paper and with pictorials in a regular school lesson. So it moved me to think that maybe a nice little project could be developed, basically a virtual school where children could go to learn the principles of mathematics as well as other things. And you consider all of the capabilities of Minecraft, and the ease at which things can be set up in Minecraft. You've got books. You can get a mod called Bibliocraft that really expands books, so you can teach reading. Not only math, you can teach reading. History, you can teach history. I know of a university out there that they actually built all of the historical places in the world in Minecraft, and they used the custom NPCs mod to make historical figures related to those settings, and they built a very neat educational world using that. So I know that it can be done. I think Minecraft is vastly underutilized, and it could actually become a very good educational tool. Attempts were made with Second Life to do things like that, virtual schools. But the thing that sucked about Second Life, and I know this from experience, and also with OS Grid, is if you want it to do anything other than sit there static in Second Life or OS Grid, you've got to know scripting. For it to even move an inch, you've got to know scripting. And it's a pain in the butt to learn that. I learned it, some basic components of it, but Minecraft, because of its innate simplicity, it's basically super easy to pick up. And there's so many mods out there that do so many things that you can pretty much bend Minecraft to whatever direction you want it to go. So here's my thoughts on this, and this is where I would ask those of you out there. I want to build a campus. The first part of this, I just want to do a proof of concept, and one of the proofs of concept is I want to build a school environment where a server can be set up and students can log in and go to these classrooms. Your teachers would basically have permissions in the classroom to alter things, whereas the students go there to learn. They can't modify, break, or grief. But what I need, I'm a fairly proficient builder, but some of my builds lack certain artistic touches, and I've seen some stuff that a lot of y'all out there can build, especially those of you from the old Puego server, which kind of is really crappy that Puego went down, but I want to put together a campus, a very realistic campus with all the bells and whistles, not just classrooms, because anybody can build a virtual classroom. It's very unhuman just to have it that way. I want to build a school campus that's like any school that you would walk into. It would have a playground, it would have the cafeteria, it would have a gym, and all the other things, because one of the neat things in Minecraft, your characters are affected by the physical world around them, or the virtual world. They get hungry, they get hurt, the same as any other. And there's so many physics mods out there now. I'm going to start looking for mods that extend the ability of Minecraft's physics to make it more realistic, because I do see just endless potential with this, depending on how you mod the game out. Custom NPCs is definitely going to be on it. I'm going to use Mr. Crayfish's furniture mod, because I'm going to use realistic furniture in it. You don't have to furnish a schematic or finish it out, but having a nicely done school campus for the first building block. I want to do an elementary campus, and And I'll be building this as well, but if somebody sends me a better schematic than what I put together, I will happily use it and you'll get full credit. I'm going to try to present this to some people in the school system to see if they want to try to do an experiment with this. So yeah, it's got to look good. It's got to be a nice campus because there's going to be higher ups looking at it. So I will be building, as I said, but if one of y'all sends me a schematic or a world save that has a really nice school, we'll put that in there. We'll use that as the first virtual school in this thing. And from there, it's going to expand out. Like for the college university campus or the high school campus, going to build a town around it with dorms, places to live, so students can stay logged in, not just for school, but they can have a little personal space in there with their own cuboids defined or their own region defined for their home in there, so that they can do things and other people can't wreck it, you know. But I want to put something in there where a person can get the full experience and be immersed in there if they wish to be. And what I hope to do is I hope to have the server hosted on a school computer, you know, a central hub on the computer where the students of that school can go in there and they can have a student life inside there, you know, socially. But it also will allow, if you look at the way this works, if you have a virtual school, there's no excuse to be absent. You can log in from a computer. You don't have to physically go to the school, but your presence is there, telepresence in the virtual classroom. You know, absenteeism should not even be something excusable at that point, because it's actually, let's just say, virtual reality is fun, and it's a neat environment, and we're learning now through her little experiment. The kids learned those basic tenets of geometry in days, in fact in hours. And not only that, they retained it. They know perimeter. She had tried to do it the old way with pencil and paper and workbook and the little visuals and whatever, you know, and it didn't stick. But apparently after just a few days in a Minecraft world where the kids could actually walk around and manipulate the world and see it in a semi-concrete way, the kids learned it, and they learned it fast. So this opens up a whole new way to teach children that now are in the digital age, that, you know, books and paper and all this older stuff is not something that it pertains to them. It pertains to them, but it's not concrete to them like digitally presented stuff is. I mean, let's face it, the minds of all the youth in this country are shifting to a more technically advanced way of doing things, and in that vein, learning should also be shifted that way. They can process more information. If you think about it, you take somebody who is immersed in all of this digital technology, you know, smartphones, devices, virtual reality, telepresence, paper, pencil, all this stuff to them, it's minutia, and quite frankly, it's boring to a lot of them. And I think that's the problem with a lot of them, is they need that information flowing hard and fast into their minds, because we've all developed into information processing machines. You know, and pencil and paper is the old, slow way of doing it. And I don't mind pencil and paper. I grew up around it. But these kids aren't growing up around that. That stuff, the minute they get their hands on a smart device or an immersive rig or a virtual reality set up on a PC, they don't care about paper and pencil. That stuff is a thing of the past for them. And it's kind of sad in a way, and we do need to teach them to use hard copy. But if you want them to learn stuff and you want them to learn fast, it's looking more and more like you're going to have to immerse them into the technologies that they're growing up with. And that's where Minecraft comes in. Not Second Life. Who the hell wants to write miles and miles and miles of SL script to make something work when you can get it working in minutes or hours in Minecraft with little or no programming experience? So vast potential in there. And that's what I'm going to be doing over the next month, is I'm going to be building an educational environment I might use something already constructed. I'm looking at Greenfield 146. I'm even looking at the older Greenfield 145. And because the city is already complete, it even has schools. You know, some of it I like and some of it I don't like. I would really like to build it custom, custom from the beginning to the end. But if I can't get much outside help, and I do know how to build, and I build some pretty neat things, but it takes time to put all that together, and I have to get something rolling pretty fast. So if I have to, I'll use an existing world save, a decent one. But in Greenfield is a fairly clean environment. I haven't seen anything pornographic in Greenfield, or haven't seen any of this stuff like that. And it offers a good kickstart until something better can be made. That's my second option. That's my second option. My primary option, what I want to do, is build this thing from scratch if I can. And that's where I would like a lot of help from you guys out there, especially if anybody from the old Puegable server, and maybe on Atheon now, or were turned off to Atheon but did some pretty cool builds on Puegable.com. I'd like to talk to y'all, because the artistic and human side of what was built was really nice. The detail was awesome. I've always believed in doing detail, quality over quantity. That's why it takes me so long to build stuff. I don't like just building block buildings. Let's put something together that we can be proud of, that students will come from the world over to come in there and sit in a classroom and learn from a virtual teacher, another teacher who's logged in somewhere. Let's give this thing a try. Other people have tried it with other software suites or suites, and it's kind of met with limited success, and I think most of that was just the difficulty in setting a world up in there, But Minecraft, who doesn't have a copy of Minecraft on their PC right now that's young? And even some older people. I mean, I'm 42, and I have a copy of Minecraft. It's leisurely to build stuff and see stuff work and make things work and get mods to work and see how things do, whether they do what you want them to do, and sometimes they do unexpected things depending on what you're doing in there. So I think if we can, we could make something that would be a huge contribution to the education of our people. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you're here to troll, don't bother commenting. It's by approval only. I'm not here to entertain the trolls. This is a legitimate project that I'm working on. I'm going to be building for the next month. And any contributions, schematics, world saves that I can pull schematics from, anything that anybody offers me to put in there, if it's something I can use and I can put it in there, or if I just decide to use the world save, you will get credit. And it's going to be important people looking at what's being done. So it's not going to be a little crap project with noob cubes and mud huts and 1x1 towers and junk. We're going to build something very real and very realistic, and this is going to be a proof of concept. So if you want to participate, comment below. Let's start talking. We'll start PMing back and forth. Everybody that contributes will be entitled to a copy of the world save as it progresses, because I want it to be an open build that everybody can do whatever they want with, and where other educators, if they want to build a virtual campus, they can set up a Minecraft server and put the world save on there with all of the infrastructure already in place, so they don't have to do a whole lot of building to add on their own custom touches. And that's what I want to do. In fact, I'll probably go ahead and get into some hosting somewhere so that I can host that, not Minecraft hosting, but a place where the world save can be downloaded along with the appropriate mods to make everything in the world save work. Things that are going to be in there just from the get-go, and this isn't hard and fast as far as other things that may be added, but you're going to have vanilla Minecraft with Forge. So it's going to have custom NPCs as one. Furniture mod is another one. I'm going to be talking to the designers respectively of these mods. It may or may not be the Greenfield World Save or pieces from it, because there's some pretty good builds. I wanted so badly to use some of the builds from the mcpuegable.com, but since they shut the server down and they don't want people taking anything from the World Save, which is a terrible waste, there was some incredible stuff in there, but that's another avenue. I'll probably, if I don't get a custom world built by the deadline, I'll probably, in fact, I'll go ahead and do the Greenfield branch, but I'm going to do the custom build branch as well, so that I have something. I got to get something up and running. I'm going to host that there, and those mods are going to be present. Custom NPCs, furniture mod, Bibliocraft, because it has a whole ton of things to do with literacy and books and the storage of books, the printing and copying of books. It also has a lot of things custom designed for storage and lighting. Dang, my nose itches. So another big thing that's gonna be there. Let me see, what other mods? I might, if he updates it to 1.8 in the future, I might put in the colored lighting mod, which enhances the reality of worlds by making lighting the appropriate color that it should be in certain situations. I'm trying to think what other things. Transportation. I'm going to have some mods for vehicular transportation. I want to find a thing that gives you quasi-creative mode. How should I put it? I don't want the world to be arbitrarily destroyed by people messing with it, but I do want some of the capabilities of creative mode, so that when you give a student a dorm room, they can pull down items that they need and they can set it up however they want within that cuboid or that building which is in a cuboid. The World Save is going to have an elementary school campus, it will have a high school campus, and it will have a college campus. It will also have all the infrastructure that surrounds that, for instance, dorms, housing, points of interest, shops maybe, because it's also going to have a working economy. One of the things we want to teach students is how economies work. So it will have an economy mod that works in Forge and not Bucket, because Bucket, let's face it, Bucket's gone. Sponge, whenever the hell that comes out, who knows? You know, I don't know that that's ever going to be a thing, at least for the next year. I mean, they're still farting around with it, and there hasn't really been a stable release yet that does anything that I can see. Tried installing it, didn't work. So Forge is really the only way to go if you're going to do any kind of Minecraft modding right now. And rightly so. Why not? Why do you need another API? You know, just get Forge and get mods that work for Forge. Everybody mods in Forge. Who the hell mods in Sponge? Only a few now. And considering that only a few machines are even capable of running Sponge, their development builds, not even going to be a consideration. It's going to be Forge all the way on top of vanilla. Might move to Sponge when it proves itself, but it's all pie in the sky right now, so. And I'm trying to think of other mods that we may have. Going to have the painting mod. Excuse me. Feels like I inhaled something. So that we can have whiteboards in the classrooms. A few other things. Maybe some, we'll have a custom texture pack to make everything look good. Texture packs. If you do a texture pack that you want to contribute, it has to be modeled on the standard Minecraft textures. Don't make a sponge look like a fan grate, because a lot of the stuff is going to be built using. I'm going to try to have things adhere as close to the default pack as I can, as far as planks are planks are planks, stone is stone is stone, sponge will be sponge, with certain allowances. Something like Misa's texture pack is a good example. It adheres to the default pack, and it doesn't make one thing look like something completely different than what the block name is. So when you're building with a stove or furnace, it's a furnace. You're building, and I've run into some really weird texture packs that are that way. The Greenfield texture pack has so many blocks modded to be other things that rather than having to learn an entire new array of textures and what they actually are, let's adhere to the defaults of what the blocks are when you texture for those blocks. I'd like to get something photorealistic, so I'll be looking through existing texture packs to see what would best fit it. But yeah, there will be other mods added, and if you build something, because God knows whose fire protection and whose world protection, Forge has a very limited selection of things. There's no real world guard for Forge as of yet that I know of. Basic fire protection from the game, just turning the fire tick off, a few other things, but that's not foolproof. So if you build something and you contribute a schematic, exclude fire from the building unless you know what you're doing. I've had some schematics that people have sent me that had fireplaces burning in them, and when you paste it, the whole building starts burning down, So, yeah, because they took it off of a server that had fire protections. So build as if there are no protections. Don't build crap out of ice next to light bulbs where the ice will melt, because we are going vanilla Forge, and until a good world protection plugin, that stops that stuff. Keep in mind that leaf decay is probably going to be happening, so don't build a bunch of stuff out of leaves so that it'll sit there and go boop, 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 until there's nothing left. Because we don't have Bucket anymore, and those plugins for Bucket don't work with anything else, so everything's got to be vanilla with Forge. That's about it, and that's my request, and I also want to know what y'all think about this. It's like I said, I think the potentials are endless, and this month I'm going to be devoting a lot of my time to putting something together that I can present. Because like I said, anybody that contributes, there's going to be a list of people who have contributed and what they put in there. And the quality of your builds, you may get some recognition. Maybe another server, like a free build server where you have to rank. Maybe, possibly, if you submit these builds, it's going to be an open source map. It's going to be out there for anybody to download. Your builds will be in there, so people will see what you built. And you will get credit for them, and hopefully it'll help you to rank. Who knows? Like I said, no mud huts, no noob cubes. Quasi-modern design is good. Doesn't necessarily have to be, because towns can be built, with historical districts. But be a person that builds realistically, so that it will integrate into a city environment. If you want to see how to build, how I'm looking for, download Greenfield, any version of the Greenfield city world save, and look around the city, and you'll kind of see the gist of what I'm trying to do. And it's really a shame MC Puegable is gone, because I would say go around there and look at the latest version of the world save, but there's no world save to view. Actually, Fuego, if you're on there and you see this, if you have that world save, I implore you, there's so much beautiful stuff in that world save that could be made into something so useful, because it's going to educational purposes. There was so much beautiful stuff in that world save. I really wish there was a way to get my hands on it and use it. And it's not for stealing builds. Everybody will get credit for what they did, but to have something that they made actually on a serious thing that people will use, they'll get notoriety for that. So this is the time, I think, if you want to make a name for yourself and this thing actually goes somewhere, doing extremely good builds, you'll make a name for yourself, because it's going to exist in that map that's going to be used by many hundreds of people. So anyway, that's pretty much it. And I've run out of gas as far as talking about this. I'm going to go get busy building. So y'all have a good day, and like I said, comment below. Sorry the video went so long. There will be other videos coming about other things that have happened, but this subject I thought I should approach this subject in a single video because there's so much to talk about. There's a lot more I'd like to talk about, but until I get a proof of concept and I can see how it all actually comes together, I'll have to wait. But when that's done, I may do some gaming video of the world that I'm building so that people can see what's actually going on and how it's shaping up. I have to check and see if that's going to jigger up my monetization status or not, because if it is, I'm going to have to create another channel for it. But other than that, that's where we stand, and y'all have a good one.